What's going on, guys? Jimmy Like Halo back again for the final video on the Master Chief Collection, which is going to be on Halo 4. Now, Halo 4 was the first game in the Halo franchise to be developed by 343 Industries instead of Bungie. And basically, immediately, if you didn't know that, as soon as you start playing the game, as soon as you start looking at everything, you're like, yeah, this isn't the same. Now that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad or anything. You just know it's different. So the art style was a huge change from a more like simplified look. They kind of like overtly complicated things. Like things look over designed. Like even Master Chief, there's like I don't think his armor looks bad. I think it looks cool, but it's just not the same as like the Halo 3 or 2 design, where it's like sometimes more simple is more effective, and sometimes overcomplicating designs like their undersuits in this game and how the gloves look and everything like that. I know it seems like a nitpick, but from going from years and years of Halo looking the way it does to make it be Halo, what makes it Halo, the fact that they changed that on their first game was a little bit concerning and kind of shocking to a first time player. Now, this game's main story kind of revolves around Cortana and her rampancy since she was only supposed to last for however many years. So, Master Chief is trying to get her to Halsey to fix her. He's never able to do that. And she ends up dying, in quotations, at the end to save him from the Didat from absolutely obliterating Earth. But yeah, that's the main story of the game. Is like you're not really the Covenant is there. They're not really doing anything. We have no idea who's even leading them. It kind of makes no sense, but whatever. The main enemies are the Didat and the Prometheans, which you get introduced to fairly early on. And honestly, the Prometheans are some of the most annoying enemies Halo has ever seen, especially in Halo 4. Man, are they annoying. Their weapons are trash. Their enemies are trash. It's just like a Promethean version of a Covenant enemy, except worse, because it has worse weapons, worse mechanics. It's just not designed very well. The Promethean Knights are cool, but even those ones have flaws. And there are definitely cool weapons that they add, like the incineration cannon. I always love that one, or the scatter shot. But I don't know. The design change of the weapons, like the UNSC and the Covenant ones, making them really look kind of weird to fit their new art style. I never agreed with. I didn't like it then. I didn't like it now. I'm glad Halo Infinite went back on everything and everything looks how it should have been from the get-go. But yeah, that's enough about the art style and whatnot. So I'm gonna show you what the game looks like and skip. Oops. And honestly, this game for a 360 game, it's a later game, 2012. I think it looks really good. I made this argument for some other game that was a later game, 360 game that almost looked like Xbox One. This is another one of those. Even despite its art style, like from a visual standpoint, I think the game actually looks like really visually good. They did a really good job just making a good looking game, I guess. But it also plays well. Even though people have their problems with the multiplayer trying to copy a Call of Duty with like a bad loadout system and then native sprint like this, which was also a problem. Overall, I think it's still a pretty solid game, even despite its flaws. But going over to multiplayer, oops. Um, this is another kind of controversial part of Halo 4. Not only just the art design and the weapons and all that, but essentially the way everything looks and works, like I guess Bungie kind of pushed them towards this direction, not trying to do this. They didn't know that they would do this with them, obviously. But in Halo Reach, they had the first version, the loadout system, where it just had armor abilities, and it was like the difference between a DMR or an assault rifle, and that was basically it. Whereas in Halo 4, you could use like the carbine from Spawn, the battle rifle, which is literally the best starting weapon in the game, and then you could have a plasma pistol in your pocket. So it's like, okay, if everyone can just use a meta loadout, then there's no point of choosing any other loadout. It just completely defeats the purpose of even having a loadout, which is why it doesn't work in Halo, because the way power weapons are in the arena-based multiplayer, it just isn't meant for a game like this. But despite that, if everyone just pretends like they start with a battle rifle and everyone uses it, it can be a fun game. Unlike in Halo 5, this game still has the reticle lowered, not in the center, so it's actually aligned where the gun is supposed to be. But yeah, I mean, the multiplayer is fun. For the most part, at its core, it is still Halo, even though it has like native sprint. It's not an ability, even if it looks really weird. This was kind of a rough patch for Halo's history, I'm gonna be honest. But I did like the game when it came out still, even though it was different. Maybe I was more optimistic because, like, okay, it was their first Halo. Maybe on the next one they'll improve on stuff. But while they did in terms of multiplayer in some ways, in other ways they somehow made it worse. So I don't know. It is what it is. They also changed a lot of sounds of iconic things, which I didn't like either. There's a lot of stuff they changed that, one, they didn't need to change, and two, nobody wanted them to change. So it's kind of complicated. If you're a Halo fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But also Forge in this game was pretty solid too. The Mantis, like the new stuff they add that is flat out their original idea, I think is really cool. Like the Mantis, for example, which is a big walking mech with rockets and a minigun, and you can stomp on people, and you can also hijack it in multiplayer. So it's that part is really fun. But yeah, other than the changes they made, and actually the map designs, even if they're not memorable, they're actually pretty solid overall. I don't think I hate any of them. But still not quite as good as something from Halo 3 or Reach. But yeah, at the end of the day, I still like this game, even if it's one of the weaker Halos. It's still a fun game, still good. But yeah, that's all about it I have to say. Campaign is good, even if it's flawed. Game overall is good, even if it's flawed. Same with multiplayer. Forge is actually on the better side. I don't think it's quite as good as Reach, but it has good stuff. It's almost as good, I'd say. And yeah, that's about it for this video. I will do Halo 5 in the next one. Thanks for watching.